Hello everyone, welcome to Dinesh KQL. My name is Dinesh Priyankara, Microsoft MVP and IT consultant. If you're running a Fabric solution, you know how important it is to keep an eye on what's happening with your Fabric environment. You need to check and see whether it's resource usage, operations, or if anyone is facing issues. So in order to do that, you need to have a solid monitoring setup. So far, we have been using something called Microsoft Fabric app, Microsoft Fabric Metrics app. I'm sure that everyone knows about it, and you have already downloaded and use it. So that's the app we use to track resource consumption. So things like overall CU usage, or how much you use individual Fabric items like notebooks. That's what I always check. So how many CUs are being used by notebooks. So this help us to figure out whether our code or operations are consuming too many resources or they need more. But now Microsoft has introduced a workspace monitoring, which gives something additional. So it collects logs and metrics for Fabric items. Again, not for all items. Currently, it is limited for set of items. I'll explain all these things. So it helps us to understand whether everything is running smoothly or performing well. So in this video, I'll walk you through how to enable workspace monitoring. Let's have a quick look on what is workspace monitoring, and then we'll check and see whether, we'll check and see how it works and how you can simply use to get more information on your Fabric environment. Additionally, I'll introduce two new community-driven dashboard templates. One is Power BI report template, and the other one is real-time dashboard template. So these templates can connect with the workspace monitoring database, which is a KQL database, and you can see more information on your Fabric operations. Okay, right, let's start it. Okay, what is workspace monitoring? So that is something you need to enable. So it's basically gives you a database. Actually, it creates multiple Fabric items, but you can consider as a database. So it collects, information related to your operations, things like logs, metrics, user information, query information, time it takes. It collects many things and saves. So as you see with this diagram, you have to start with, workspace setting. So you go to the workspace setting and then enable. That's how you start. Okay. Once this is started, you will be seeing three new Fabric items. One is the event house, second one is the KQL database, third one is the event stream. So, event stream simply collects all this information and then, it saves in the KQL database. All right. Remember, if you have worked with KQL database, you know that, by default, KQL tables do not keep data forever. It has a sort of a retention period. Okay. So when it's come to workspace monitoring database, it keeps data for 30 days. All right. Okay. So how we are going to simply use this? Easiest way is you connect with the KQL database and then query. If the schema is something not that complex, you can understand it. If you go through the schema, you can see the tables and columns. So as you see with this slide, you can write KQL statements for getting information from this database. If you want to get ready-made queries for this database, just check the description. There is a GitHub repository. So if you go to that GitHub repository, you can get multiple KQL queries that can be used for getting information from this KQL database. Okay. So remember, this database is a read-only database. You cannot make any modification to this, right? But if you have permission for accessing this database, you can connect and then read data. But as I mentioned before, this does not collect logs or the metrics for all Fabric items. Currently, this collects logs and metrics for semantic models, okay, mirrored databases, and then real-time intelligence components like KQL database, and then GraphQL operations, okay. I'm sure that Microsoft will add more Fabric items to this later, okay. But currently, these are the things that can be seen with your KQL database or workspace monitoring database. In certain scenarios, we have used log analytics for monitoring workspaces. Remember, if you have enabled log analytics for this workspace, then you have no way of enabling workspace monitoring. It doesn't work together, right? That's what you have to remember. So if you have log analytics, first thing you have to disable it or remove all the components with log analytics from your workspace, and then enable workspace monitoring. Okay, that's something you need to remember. Now, other than writing queries against this KQL database for seeing insights or the performance details, you have two new report templates or dashboard templates given by Fabric community. If you go to Fabric Toolbox GitHub repository, okay, you can see these templates. Again, check in the description. You can see the links. So if you use these two templates, you don't need to create your own report or on real-time dashboard. So you can configure these two to connect with the KQL database and then add it to your workspace. So once everything is configured, you can open either Power BI report or the real-time dashboard for seeing insights or the performance related data related to your operations. Okay, all these two reports have multiple pages, multiple visuals. So you can use these visuals, the pages, to see what's happening with your Fabric environment. Okay, now let me show you the way of enabling workspace monitoring for your Fabric workspace. And then let's see how we can use the templates given for connecting with workspace monitoring database and seeing insights. Okay, I have already enabled workspace monitoring for one of my workspaces, but I'm going to show you the way of enabling workspace monitoring for one of my new workspaces. So you can see Fabric Test 011. It's a new workspace and it has no Fabric items. So how do I enable Fabric monitoring or the workspace monitoring for this? All I have to do is click on workspace setting. Let me click on workspace setting, and then you can see a page or the tab called monitoring. Click on it, and then you will be seeing a button called Event House. Okay. So what you have to do is you click on Event House, then it will configure your Fabric workspace for monitoring. So you can see, multiple Fabric items are getting added. Let's wait and see. Okay, so you can see a message saying successfully added the monitoring event house and turn on logging. Okay, let me close workspace setting. You can see three Fabric items: event house, KQL database, and event stream. So these are the three items you are going to see once it is enabled. If you want to query the KQL database, you can open it and query. Let me refresh this page just to make sure that we see everything properly. This is how you should see it. Okay, so I can open the KQL database or the event house. Let me right click and then open it. So you can see the event house, you can see the KQL database. I can click on the KQL database and see the tables. So you can see there are multiple tables, and now this has no data because we don't have any Fabric items. But if you want to write some queries against these tables, one way is you can click on one of these tables, ellipsis button, and then query with code. You can open the query window by clicking one of these menus, or else I can go for my KQL database and then new related item. I can click on query set. I can give a name, for example, let's say Q1, and then create. So it gives me an interface for writing KQL statements. All right. So if I want to get ready-made KQL statements, for this monitoring database, I can go to this repository. Okay, again, check the URL given in the description. So you can come here and then get whatever the query you want and then use it. For example, if I go to semantic model operations, I can see multiple type of queries. Let me click on one of these. I'll copy this code. We go here and paste. I think this has been changed. So let me just say item name. So you might see some differences when you get these codes from the GitHub repository. So check and see, right? So I can click on run and see. Yeah, so it works, but no data. We don't have any Fabric items, so this database has no records. Okay, so this is how you simply check the database. But if you want, you can get those two templates and then configure those two templates as reports in your Fabric environment, and then use it for seeing insights or seeing logs, metrics related to your operations. Okay, so what's the GitHub repository for that? So this is the GitHub repository, Fabric Toolbox Monitoring, Workspace Monitoring Dashboards. You can see two templates. So what you have to do is you have to download these two, and then you can configure, right? I have already downloaded and I have configured as well, but let me quickly show you how you simply configure the Power BI report and how you get this real-time dashboards into Fabric. Okay, so these are the two files I have downloaded. You can see one is PBIT, that's Power BI template, and then the other one is a JSON file, which is real-time dashboard template. Okay, so let's check the real-time dashboard first. Let me go to the workspace. This is the workspace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Fabric item, real-time dashboard. Select it. Let me give a name. All right, so I name it as real-time dashboard monitoring. Let me click on create. All right, so I have the dashboard created, but I don't have any data sources connected with this. Before doing anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the template downloaded, okay, and then get this dashboard configured. So this is how you do it. You go to manage. You can see replace with file. I'm going to click on that. I can see the JSON file we downloaded. So let me select it and click on open. Right. So everything is loaded to my real-time dashboard. But as you see, all the visuals simply show an error, right? The reason is this has not been configured. This has, we need to make sure this real-time dashboard connects with our monitoring KQL database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on data sources. You can see the add button. I'm going to click on add. You can see two options, one Lake Catalog, Azure Data Explorer. So we have to connect with our monitoring KQL database. So in that case, I need to select one Lake Catalog. I can see multiple KQL databases. So this is the Workspace 011, and this is the monitoring KQL database that have been created as a part of enabling Workspace monitoring. Select it, click on connect. I can see, the one in my database drop down. So all good. I'm going to set a display name. So let me say monitoring KQL database. All good. Now there are two options for connecting with this. You can see pass-through identity, dashboard editor's identity. So if I use pass-through identity, this is how it works. So example, let's say I configure this and then you open the dashboard. So it will use your credentials for connecting with the KQL database. So if you do not have any permission for accessing the KQL database or reading the KQL database, then you are not going to see data in these reports. So that's how pass-through identity work. But if I configure dashboard editor's identity, it will keep my credentials with this real-time dashboard. So when you open the dashboard, it will not use your credential, it will use my credentials. Okay, that's how it works. So anything is fine in this case. I'll simply select pass-through identity. Let me click on add, and all good. It has been added. So I'm going to close this. Now we need to select the workspace. Let me select the workspace. This is not the Fabric workspace. This is the workspace or the KQL source. Okay, so that's what I selected. Now you can see we don't see any errors. So which means this real-time dashboard connects with the KQL database, but we don't see any data. Okay, so now I can go to home and then save it. All good. So anytime I can open this report, or even others can simply open this real-time dashboard and see. Since we don't have data, I'm not going to take you through these tabs. I have configured with monitoring database or workspace monitoring. So we can have a look on these pages and visuals later. Okay, right. So this is how we configure real-time dashboard. Now let's have a look on the Power BI one. So in order to connect with the Power BI, in order to make sure that Power BI connects with the KQL database, we need to get the KQL URL first. Okay, so how do you do it? Let's go to the workspace. Let me open the database. Right, so when I select the database, you can see certain properties in this left pane. You can see copy URL, that's a query URL. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. So URL has been copied to the clipboard. Right, now let's open the Power BI template and then let's try to configure it. I'm going to double click on this template. It will open Power BI. All right. So this Power BI file has been created with query parameters. So that's why you see this dialog box. Since this is a template, we can simply provide values for these properties. Okay. And then we can get the data loaded. So query URI, it has been already copied. So I'm going to paste it. All done. The date range you want. Remember, KQL database has last 30 days data. Okay, so don't configure a number larger than 30. So I'm going to continue with the default days ago to start 7 to finish 0 mean today. So if I want, I can add a fabric item ID as well. For example, if I really want to focus on one of my semantic models, then I can get the semantic model ID and then paste it in this input box. But I'm not going to do that. If you really want to make sure that this Power BI reports shows all semantics models you have, all the fabric items you have, then you don't need to fill this. All these are optional. So I'm not going to enter anything. I'm going to click on load. So I'm required to sign in. Let me sign in. Remember, this Power BI is getting configured with import mode. So which mean if you want to make sure you always see the latest, you need to make sure you configure this for either incremental loading, or you have to go and add a refresh schedule. Okay, that's something you have to remember. Okay, let's see whether it connects with the KQL database. Again, we are working with a workspace that has no fabric items, so which means we are not going to see anything with this. Right. So Power BI file is ready. Now I can simply publish this. All I have to do is click on publish and then publish to the workspace. All right. I can do it. Let's do it. So let me just say monitoring report. Save. It is getting published. So I'm going to select my workspace. Done. So let's go to the workspace and see. Okay, so I have the monitoring report and real-time dashboard as well. But you might not see the report properly. So let me open the model related to the report and then reconfigure the credential. Click on this and then settings. You can see data source credential. You can see a sort of an error. So I'm going to say edit credentials. And yeah, this is fine. Authentication method auth2. So this is none. Sign in. So it will use my account. All good. Let me go back to my workspace. Let's open the report and see whether it works. Yeah, so it works, no errors. So which means it connects with the KQL database. Right. So as we, this is how you configure Power BI report and real-time dashboard. Now let me show you how we can see insights from this KQL database with the configured Power BI report and real-time dashboard. So I have another workspace. This is the one. So you can see test 010. This has many fabric items. It has semantic models, reports, or the Power BI reports, notebooks, and it has KQL databases as well. Okay. So workspace monitoring has been configured with this, and that's why you see monitoring event house and KQL database, and you can see monitoring event stream, which is part of workspace monitoring. Okay, so let's have a look on the real-time dashboard. So this is the real-time dashboard that have been configured. You can see multiple pages. When you open the overview page, you can see two sections. The left side is for semantic model, right side is for event houses or the KQL databases. So you can see, for example, in my case, it says there are 7 semantic models, and based on the modes like direct query, import, and there is unknown as well. I think unknown represent direct lake. I did not see anything with direct lake, but I believe that this unknown one is direct lake. Okay. So if I scroll down, I can see more information on both semantic models and event houses or the KQL databases. If I go for a semantic model section, let me scroll up. So you can see, semantic model summary. You can see these are dataset IDs. Oh, sorry, this capacity ID. This is the dataset ID. So the item ID is a dataset ID. You can see the mode. You can see import mode. You can see direct query. For some reason, you don't see direct lake, but when it comes to this warehouse 010 sale, semantic model is based on direct lake. For some reason, we don't see that direct lake term with mode column. Okay. But I can see the CPU consumption. If I scroll right, I can see more metrics. Okay. These are really useful. Let me scroll down. I can see query statistics based on dataset ID or the semantic model ID. Right. If I scroll down, I can see refresh statistics as well. Now, for example, if I go for semantic model queries, I can see the summary of all the queries. So many important metrics or the visuals are there. You can simply go through all these visuals and understand operations related to your semantic model or how users have performed their activities against semantic models, or how capacity has been used for these operations. See these two grids, top 5,000 queries by parameters, and the next one is execution metrics of top 5,000 queries by, again, the parameters. Okay. Now, for example, there are a lot because I perform many test operations, but if I scroll down, I can see set of requests with duration time like 8, 18, 14, 58. So if I expand this, I can see the operation details. If I scroll down, I can see the users count, and then I can see the DAX. So likewise, if I go to refreshes, I can see details related to semantic model refreshes, whether everything has been successfully completed or there are failures, how long these refreshes have taken, whether it's on demand or based on the schedule. Many details on refreshes, even things that are being executed now. Okay, I can check with this dashboard. If I go to event house section, I can see KQL queries that have been performed by users. You can see top queries based on selected order by. Okay. You can see the username. If you can expand it and see more detail. Okay. In certain cases, you are not going to see the exact KQL statement, but in most of the cases, you'll be seeing the KQL statement. If you go for table ingestions, then you will see how KQL database is getting loaded with data. So you can see a lot with this real-time dashboard. Okay. Now let me open the report, the Power BI report. This is the Power BI report. So with the workspace page, it gives you a summary saying, okay, this has 2 semantic models, 7 semantic models, 2 active users, and you can see basically 3 columns. So the second column is for semantic models. Third column is for event houses. If you take the specific column chart, it says semantic models based on active users and operation. And if you check the last column chart, it is based on duration. So likewise, you can see things related to semantic models and then KQL databases. If I go for a semantic model section, I can see many more metrics or the stats related to semantic models. For example, now let me take this date, 4th February. If I expand this, I can see my semantic model lakehouse 010, and this is the replica based on the operation. You can see multiple operations or the multiple dates. I can expand one of these. You can see some stats for this ID. If I expand this and go to the next level, it basically says, okay, total CPU time is 57, the max is 57, max duration 41. So max request peak memory, this is the number. The ID start from 26, that's the visual ID. ID starts from 76, that's the report ID. Okay, so you can actually go into report level or visual level and see the stat. I can right click on this and select drill through. Let me select this menu option, and then I can see the DAX statement and few more stats. Okay, so this is how you use this report. There are a lot based on users, based on executions, heat map for the refreshers, and then the stats related to direct query, and there is another page that is for event houses. So there are a lot. Okay, even I have not gone through all the visuals, all the columns or the metrics I see with these visuals, but you can have a look on all these things and see whether these things are useful or not. Okay, demo is done. So I showed the way of enabling workspace monitoring, and then how you can simply connect with the workspace monitoring database using KQL statements, and then the query insights. And then I showed you the way of configuring these new two templates for seeing insights based on the KQL database stats or the monitoring database stats. Okay, and other good thing is you can actually make changes to these templates or the reports. So you can add your own pages, own visuals, and then configure some visuals with some important stats. So if you feel like those visuals or the stats are useful for others, please share those things. So you can always use the comment section for sharing your thoughts, or sharing the things you have done with this workspace monitoring KQL database and these templates. All right, that's all from my end. Thank you very much for watching.